another rainy day in Southern California, so we're going to be making some chili and cornbread for dinner. On this rainy, cold day, I'm going to be making a very small batch of chili and cornbread. Now I'm out of those little instant chili packet mixes, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to make chili from seasonings that you have in your pantry. So we're going to start off today by sauteing some onions in about a tablespoon of butter. And I've got some onions all chopped up here from another recipe I made this last week. I'm going to turn my Instant Pot on saute. And I'm also going to be adding some ground turkey. Now, I actually prefer ground beef, but ground turkey is fine. It's good and it makes a good chili. And so I'm just going to add that to our Instant Pot. I'm going to get all this sauteed and show you the next step. As you can see, my turkey is almost cooked up. Now this turkey was partially frozen, so what I do as soon as I can get it into smaller chunks, I do that because as soon as you can get more surface space for the turkey cooking, the faster it'll cook. So I figure maybe just another couple minutes and this turkey will be all cooked up. So I moved the camera back a little bit because there's a lot of steam right now. But basically what I'm doing, I'm taking about half of this turkey and onions out. I'm gonna let it cool and I'm gonna use it for another dish. I'm gonna put this in my freezer in a Ziploc bag and I'm gonna keep some of it in here, but since I'm making a very small batch of chili, I'm only gonna use half of this turkey and onions. So I'm gonna save that for another meal. So first we're going to start off with, now you could cook your beans yourself and put those in. These are just some pinto beans. You can make chili with anything. I've got kidney beans and black beans. This is a small batch, so I'm only going to put in 1 can of beans, and I actually prefer the black beans. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. Now some people drain their beans, they don't like the gummy on it. With the chili, I really don't care. I think it actually makes your chili a little thicker, and I do believe that all of the liquid that comes out of the chili also has lots of nutrients and vitamins in it, so I go ahead and just leave mine in. So all I've got in here right now is turkey, black beans, and onions that have been sauteed. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've got about a half of a jar of medium salsa, and this is medium heat. It's really good. This is like one of the best salsas I've ever made, but I'm going to put a half of a jar, which is what I have left in here, in my chili. I'm going to use that instead of some of the fresh tomatoes because we are in February here, and I don't really buy tomatoes this time of the year. I just don't like tomatoes from the store. Even the vine ripened, they've been ripened in a greenhouse, and I just don't think they have a lot of flavor. So anyway, I'm going to add my salsa, and then the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to add some seasonings. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper in here. I'm going to put a little bit of salt, not a lot, just a little. And then I'm going to take about a half a teaspoon of cumin, and I'm going to add that to this dish. Now, if you're not a fan of cumin, leave it out. I like it, so it's good for me. I don't want a ton of it, but I do like the flavor in the chili. And then I'm going to put some chili powder in here. So there's 1 teaspoon. I'm just going to put that in. Now I'm going to sample all the seasonings after this cooks for a while, but right now that's what I want to put in here. I'm going to put a little bit of garlic salt. Actually, this is garlic powder. It's not garlic salt. I actually don't use much of the garlic salt. I figure if I want to put some salt in, I'll do that separately. This is some Thai basil that I grew and dehydrated. This stuff, like I said before, it's delicious. I put in about a tablespoon. Just kind of throw it in there. And then I also put in some chopped onion. Now I know that I have onion in here. You put in as much as you like. I'm going to put in a little, just a little handful, maybe a teaspoon. There you go. And those are all the seasonings that I'm gonna put in here. I'm gonna add a little bit of ketchup, very little, about maybe a tablespoon. Now I also have a jar of beef broth, but I don't have any of the smaller jars. I just think this is too much for this chili. So I think what I'm gonna do is just make a little bit of broth from the stove. I'm also gonna put in some ground paprika. I'm gonna put about a half of a teaspoon of that in there. And if it's a little bit more, I don't care. I love paprika. So these are tomatoes that I had from my garden last summer. I actually have quite a few. I have several bags out there actually. So I think what I'm gonna be doing is taking some of those tomatoes. I think that's probably enough. I'm gonna be taking some of these bags of tomatoes and I'm gonna turn them into some either canned tomatoes or tomato sauce or maybe even some tomato soup. We'll see. So I added a big heaping teaspoon to about a cup and a half of water, and all I'm gonna do is take this broth and add this to my chili base. Just like that. Now I've got a little bit of liquid in there. I'm gonna go ahead and get the Instant Pot cooking. And I'm gonna set this to seal. That's all you have to do. And I'm gonna show you on here because this is so simple. So this has a little button for chili. So all we do is push it. That's it, easy peasy. Now while our chili is cooking in the Instant Pot, I'm gonna make some of these homemade Jiffy corn muffins. This was a copycat recipe that I did maybe 6 months ago. I'm gonna link the recipe for this Jiffy cornbread mix above. If you're interested, I just keep it in a mason jar. And when I'm ready to make muffins, it's super simple. So the recipe that I have is for 6 muffins. So all I'm gonna do is add 3/4 of a cup of my Jiffy mix. Now this was a mix I made up several months ago, but it looks great, it's really fresh. So we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup, I'll put a little bit more, into our bowl. We're gonna add one egg. We're gonna add 1/3 of a cup of milk. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Then I'm gonna add 1/8 of a cup of oil. So I'm gonna put that all in there and give it a good stir. You don't want to over stir it, but you need everything to kind of come together. Now all we're going to do is put that into our baking cups and throw it in a preheated oven at 400 degrees. And you fill them as heavy as you like. I put mine a little bit heavier, even if I'm a muffin short, because I really like a nice big corn muffin. Now, if you double this recipe, you're gonna get 12 muffins. Like I said, I fill mine really full, but if you fill them halfway, it'll come out exactly even. And I'll go ahead and post both of the 6 muffin and 12 muffin recipe down in the description. So our chili and cornbread are all done, so I'm gonna show you how they came out. These are the cornbread muffins that I made from my Jiffy mix. Already had one, it was really good. It smells amazing. Oh, I can't wait to try it. Wow, it looks so good and smells so good. This is gonna be absolutely delicious. Yum, yum. So rather eating my cornbread the way that it is, I'm one of those weird people that like to crumble up my cornbread and put it in my chili. But I did want to just show you what the cornbread looks like. This is my Jiffy cornbread mix that I make. It's a copycat recipe. Comes out perfect every time. So I'll take a quick bite. Like I said, I already had one, but it's so good. Very, very good. So I just crumble my cornbread up, just like this. And then I add a little bit of cheddar cheese. Sometimes I put some raw onions in here, but usually I don't because I always have cooked onions in my chili. I just give it a little stir. And that's my chili. Let me give you a taste test. This is kind of hot in the bowl, so I'm gonna have to take a bite and try it that way. See how hot it is? I don't know if you can see the steam. Wow, that is perfect. Oh my goodness. That is some of the best chili I've made in a long time. If you don't have the little packets for chili, try making it from scratch. It's easy. You just need a little bit of ingredients you probably already have in your kitchen, in your pantry. And voila, you've got a wonderful bowl of chili and cornbread. Keep the Jiffy mix on hand, and you'll always have wonderful cornbread with whatever you're fixing. So thank you so much for joining me today on this cold and rainy day. It's still pouring out. Oh my gosh, it's been raining for hours. So I'm gonna go eat my chili with my cornbread all mixed in it. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Give this recipe a try. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. It can also be cooked in the crock pot. So I did the Instant Pot so I could have it for lunch, but crock pot works just as good. So if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.